Hi guys, Chris and PJ here live in the Dream Giveaway Garage.
Happy Friday. Fire it up Friday.
Fire it up Friday.
We've been waiting all week for this.
All week for a Fire It Up Friday. And thank you guys for watching our show here on YouTube and on Facebook. I'm going to remind you, we have over 1,000 videos on our YouTube channel. So please go to YouTube/Dream Giveaway, ring the bell. You'll be notified every time we put a new video up, whether that's a quickie video like PJ and I shot yesterday. They call it a reel, or
short,
or a full-length video like we do for our Facebook and YouTube Live.
That's right.
It's true. So 2 days from now, 58 years ago, so in other words, August 11th, 1966, is a day that will live in automotive infamy.
Why is that, Chris?
It's a day the first Camaro was produced.
The very first one.
Very first one for the 1967 model year. Of course, in those days, a 67 model year would have come out in September of 1966. And the very first one rolled off that factory line in Norwood, Ohio, August 11th, 1966. So we think, to honor that 58 years of Camaro production, although they have now ended, we're going to fire up the 69 Camaro. Sound like a plan?
Do you think that Chevy knew that this was going to be as big as it was?
Let me give you some backstory, ladies and gentlemen, and PJ. General Motors was caught off guard with the success of the Mustang. They knew it was coming out, but they had no idea that the Mustang would sell so many millions and millions and millions of examples from 1964 and a half, from April 1964 through 1966. And to this day, the Mustang has sold over 10 million, or Ford has sold over 10 million Mustangs. So what was General Motors to do? I mean, they were the biggest car company in the world, and they were sleeping at the wheel, right? So the Mustang started taking all of the youth sales. Well, it took General Motors 2 full years to come up with a vehicle to compete with the Mustang. And that, of course, is the Camaro. And they knew they had to battle it, but they didn't know that they would be setting up a battle that would rage generation after generation, decade after decade, car magazine after car magazine, Camaro versus Mustang. They really had no idea that it was going to be that popular a battle between Ford and Chevy on
the
that.
Coke versus Pepsi kind of a thing?
Very much so.
So who would be the winner?
Well, they're still making a Mustang. So if making it to the 15th round and not getting knocked out means you're the winner, then the Mustang has won, right? Because they have stopped production of the Camaro. They're still making the Ford Mustang in various forms. But I've got to tell you, that original 1967 Camaro was rushed to production so quickly that by 68 and 69, they had to quickly make changes because there were engineering flaws in that 1967. By 1969, however, the Camaro was iconic, right? We all know that. The most popular year, the best-selling year of the Camaro ever would be the 1969 model year. And what a great example. Here, we talked yesterday about the super low miles on this. PJ, next week before the sweepstakes ends, I'm going to have you show the title.
Yeah, absolutely.
A picture of the title on it. This one, of course, before I tell you that, Camaro was available anything from a base 6-cylinder to a 327 V8, right? That was the lowest cube V8 that you could get, all the way up to a 396, excuse me, I'm mistaken, the Z28. From a 302 cube all the way up to a big block 396. To get the 396 L78 with the solid lifters, Chevy didn't have to look far. They just had to look at the Corvette because this engine was already available in the 1965 Corvette.
So they just slapped the Corvette engine in and threw it in.
That's exactly what it is. So if you guys know your Corvette history, mid-65, the power bulge hood, big block Corvettes came out. So Corvettes no longer had to be small blocks. And before you knew it, you could get that same solid lifter 396 in a Camaro.
Kathy says, I wanted a 69 Camaro for my first car, but ended up with a 70 Mustang. Both awesome cars.
Both awesome cars. And that's what we're saying, that there's been that kind of Coke, Pepsi back and forth between the Camaro and the Mustang for, at least on the Chevy side, 6 generations of the Camaro. And on the Mustang side, 7 generations of the Mustang. PJ, who's out there learning something today?
Bobby says GM woke up, didn't they?
Oh, did they ever wake up? And it's not the first time that a competitor came out with something and caught General Motors off guard. But the Ford Mustang is probably the most famous of those incidents.
Was it because it was in movies more, or was it just popular?
The Mustang was ubiquitous. Everybody saw a Mustang everywhere. With millions of them out on the road, you didn't see any other car as much, as at least a sporty car, as a Ford Mustang. And then, of course, they were in movies. And later they were in Bullitt. But even earlier, you would see them in TV shows, you'd see them in movies. The Mustang changed the entire automobile segment to this day. Can't understate that. Okay.
Thor says, my Chevys, I'm driving to the levees. Very good. Roger says, fire up that beautiful Camaro. Larry West says, gentlemen, start your engine.
There you go. Hold. All right, guys, give me a hand.
And Ronald says, good afternoon, guys. Can't wait for the fire it up. So
let's go ahead and do it. Remember, aluminum headers, big beefy exhaust.
What are we going to hear, Chris?
You're going to hear muscle car domination happening right here. It is loud. It is brutal. Very similar to that blue Nova that we had. Remember that?
Yeah.
With the 427 in it?
So if you're listening with headphones on, please be forewarned.
Yeah, and guys, it is so loud. If you see me do this, then you know why.
All right, I'm going to let you get into that beautiful interior.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful interior indeed. We showed you some of that yesterday. You ready, PJ? You guys ready out there? Let's do it. Okay, let's try that again.
Wow. Wow. Chris, it sounded like you were actually taking off on a drag strip.
On a drag strip or on a flight tarmac, right, PJ?
That's right.
Oh, and it smells like 60s muscle car exhaust.
Yes, it does.
Let me get out and catch some air.
That was pretty impressive.
Pretty impressive. And it's just half of the grand prize. Because as rowdy as this is, this one is just as cool. LS5 AC powered Chevelle SS 454 from undeniably the most famous year in Chevelle production, 1970.
And we'll fire this up later in the...
We'll fire it up sometime next week, and certainly no later than Thursday, the last day that you guys have to enter to win our first ever Super Chevy Dream giveaway.
Well, thank you, Chris. It sounded like a great day today.
Oh, indeed. All right, guys. Whatever you're doing this weekend, do it with passion, do it with joy, do it with a smile. And we'll see you on Monday with a lot going on next week, including Tuesday, giving away the Road and Track Grand Prize Package. It only happens here live in our favorite place on earth, the Dream Giveaway Garage.